name is Eliza, and I'm 28 years old. My husband Jack is 26, and we've been married for 5 years. I've never imagined I'd be sharing my story so openly, but the weight I carry inside demands to be spoken. Maybe someone out there has lived something similar and can help me see things more clearly. For the longest time, I believed what we had was unbreakable, or at least that's what I kept telling myself. We first met in college in Boston, where the chemistry between us was undeniable. Jack was steady, encouraging, and had a deeply romantic soul. I was the one chasing challenges, constantly pushing boundaries, while he backed every dream I pursued, especially my devotion to feminism and women's rights. Before we got married, we made an agreement. I would manage the household while Jack would focus on his work and our finances. Honestly, I was perfectly content with that arrangement. I never loved chores, but I preferred them over a desk job, and it gave me time to pursue my passions. With Jack's encouragement, it all felt easy. He expressed his love in quiet, thoughtful ways, and I never once doubted his commitment. But as time passed, I began to overlook all he did for me. I threw myself into a busy social life, parties, late nights dancing, losing myself in the thrill of it all. Jack, on the other hand, loved quiet nights at home with his books or movies. I grew resentful of his disinterest in my nightlife. He started to feel boring, overly cautious, and completely out of sync with my energy. I convinced myself my outings were harmless, just a way to unwind. Yet, even without words, I could see the hurt in his eyes when I came home late. Glitter clinging to my clothes and the smell of alcohol on my breath. He tried to talk to me, but I brushed him off, accusing him of trying to control me, of suffocating who I was. Whenever he raised concerns, I hid behind my feminist ideals, twisting them into weapons and labeling him as sexist instead of listening. I was blinded by my hunger for freedom. I didn't notice how far we were drifting apart. The cracks were forming, but I ignored every single one until the night everything fell apart. That evening, Jack had planned something special for us, but I canceled because I'd rather go clubbing with my friends. He was disappointed, though he didn't push it after I accused him of not supporting my independence. As I got ready, I chose a daring red dress, one that revealed more than usual. Jack hesitated, gently asking me to change, saying it wasn't fitting for a married woman. I didn't hear concern in his words. I only saw control. I lashed out, calling him old-fashioned and controlling, insisting I'd wear what I wanted. The argument escalated, and when my friends arrived, I stormed out without another word, leaving him wounded and silent. In the car, I felt triumphant, though a small whisper inside told me I was wrong. When I returned later that night, Jack was gone. I called and texted, but there was no response. The next morning, he came back, cold and distant. He wasn't angry, not sad, just detached. It was unsettling. Then, without warning, he brought up renewing our apartment lease. Even though we had planned to buy a house, I pressed for answers, but he brushed me off. Soon after, he dropped another shock. He told me I needed to get a job. I was stunned. He explained calmly that if I truly believed in independence, I should contribute financially. He told me I had twisted my beliefs into excuses for selfishness. And from that moment on, everything would be split. Chores, bills, and responsibilities. He was done carrying it all alone. His words hit me like a storm. This wasn't the Jack who always gave in, who carried the weight for both of us. His resolve forced me to confront the contradictions in myself, though I didn't want to admit it. Bitterly, I found work through one of his contacts at a restaurant. I hated it. I treated the staff poorly, acted like I was above it all, and blamed Jack for forcing me into it. I couldn't see that he wasn't punishing me. He just wanted fairness. The more he asked of me, the more I felt controlled. Every argument, every request, I twisted into an attack on my freedom. I refused to hear him. Too wrapped up in my pride to notice how much I was tearing us apart. Looking back, I can see how toxic I had become. But at the time, I believed he was the enemy. That's when I started looking for validation outside our marriage. I told myself it was harmless, just dancing, just flirting. But deep down, I knew it was rebellion. I never admitted it to Jack. I convinced myself it would only hurt him to know. It all unraveled when a friend betrayed my trust and told him the truth. When he confronted me, I denied it at first, then turned the blame on him. But Jack had already made up his mind. He told me he wanted a divorce. He said he had been considering it for some time, and this was the final straw. When he asked me to leave, I felt my whole world collapse. Moving back to my parents' house was humiliating. I could see the disappointment in their eyes. I had let down everyone. Jack, my parents, and myself. The shame was crushing. The divorce went through quickly. We had no kids, no debts, nothing to fight over. I walked away with nothing, not even alimony. My parents stood by me, but they too expected me to contribute now that I was back under their roof. Finding work hasn't been easy. My skills are limited and my pride is still wounded. Looking back, I can see it clearly. I destroyed my marriage with resentment, selfishness, and pride. I let every argument become a war instead of working through it. I pushed Jack away until there was nothing left. If there's one truth I hope someone else takes from my story, it's this. Never let disrespect and stubborn pride poison the love you've been given. Speak honestly. Value your partner.